All right, let's talk about the intelligence trap. It's this fascinating idea, right? Why some of the smartest people, maybe even you, can get totally tripped up by the simplest habits. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, you're going to want to stick around for this.
So let me ask you, does doing really simple stuff just feel weirdly exhausting? I mean, you can tackle these huge, complex problems at work, no problem. But then the thought of doing the dishes or just cleaning up your desktop feels like a total drag. It's this strange, draining feeling, isn't it?
Well, here's the thing. It's not you being lazy. There's actually a term for this. It's called cognitive friction. It's the mental drain that high-level thinkers feel when they're stuck doing low-stimulation, repetitive tasks. Think of it this way. Your brain is a high-performance engine, and you're asking it to just sit in traffic. It's not what it was built for.
And this all leads us to something we can call the smart person's paradox. It's this wild idea that your greatest asset, your own mind, might actually be, well, overqualified for your daily to-do list.
And I really want to hammer this home because it's so important. This is not a character flaw. It's a fundamental mismatch. It's a disconnect between the kind of stimulation your brain is craving and the tasks you're actually giving it. Your brain is wired for novelty and depth, and when it doesn't get that, it struggles.
So this really gets to the heart of it. On one side, you have the complex brain. It's constantly hunting for new patterns. It craves depth, and it thrives on new stuff to chew on. On the other side, the simple task. All about repetition, low stimulation, just routine. The analogy is perfect. It's like using a supercomputer to run a basic calculator app. It's just inefficient and mentally exhausting.
So how does this cognitive friction actually show up in our lives? Let's break down 5 habits that can seriously sabotage your potential, basically turning your own intelligence against you.
So, let's kick things off with number 1. This is the big one, the idea that gives this whole phenomenon its name. It's the intelligence trap. And what's really interesting is that this often affects people in the 120 to 130 IQ range. See, at that level, you've got enough raw brain power to see the complexity in everything, but you might not have the disciplined habits to manage it all. You're running a powerful engine, but you forgot the engine oil of structured reflection.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's that dangerous middle ground where having all that intelligence, but without the discipline to back it up, can lead to a really messy personal life, even while you're crushing it at work. Now, the second habit is a little surprising. It turns outward. It's about how our own intelligence can sometimes push us toward being alone. Do you avoid small talk? Do you find you never really text people first? It's easy to tell yourself that you're just socially sophisticated, above all that trivial stuff. But in reality, you might actually be starving your brain. High intelligence thrives on new, sometimes chaotic input to spot new patterns, and isolating yourself just cuts off that supply.
And this quote just completely reframes the whole idea. Socializing isn't just a pleasant little thing to do. For a high-level thinker, it's a cognitive necessity. It is literally fuel for your brain.
Habit number 3 brings us right back inside our own heads. It's about what happens when a mind that's built for complexity gets let loose on simple, everyday tasks. This is that tendency to make simple things way more complex than they need to be. If you find yourself over-explaining concepts or trying to optimize a task that really doesn't need it, that's a sign your mind is desperately looking for a challenge that just isn't there. An elite mind simplifies the complex. It doesn't complicate the simple.
So here's a little test for you. Can you take a super complex idea from your field, something you know inside and out, and break it down so a little kid could get it? If not, you might not have truly mastered that habit of simplification just yet.
Moving on to number 4. This habit is all about the ego. It's that subtle internal battle between wanting to be right and wanting to find the truth. This is when we protect our ego instead of seeking the truth. Look, most of us are basically hardwired to look for evidence that confirms what we already believe. Intellectual humility is the discipline of actively doing the exact opposite. And let's be super clear here. This is an extremely rare quality. The daily habit of searching for your own blind spots and your own errors, that's what keeps you from getting stuck. It's what separates the good thinkers from the truly great ones. And that brings us to our 5th and final habit. This one might be the most crucial of them all, because it's what separates having ideas from actually making an impact. This is the classic trap of analysis paralysis. It's when thinking becomes a substitute for doing. A smart mind is kind of useless if it's just stuck in a loop of planning and theorizing and never actually producing anything. This right here is the mindset of the world's elite thinkers. They prioritize action. They prioritize rapid prototyping. They understand that making a simple, unacceptable mistake right now gives you way more valuable data than waiting around for some perfect plan that may never actually happen.
So how do we fix all this? How do we stop being our own worst enemy? It's all about bridging that action gap and consciously deciding to turn all of that cognitive friction into productive flow. Here's a simple 3-step framework. First, you gotta reframe those boring habits. They are not beneath you, they are the engine oil that keeps your high-powered mind running smoothly. Second, you have to actively practice intellectual humility. Go look for where you're wrong. And third, you have to make a conscious choice to prioritize doing over perfecting. And that brings us to the final thought. As you look back on these 5 habits, the intelligence trap, social isolation, overcomplicating things, the lack of humility, and that action gap, I want you to really think, which one of these is holding you back the most? Because just answering that, that's the first step.